Next on WGN News, we get a first-hand look at copies of the envelopes sent to NBC and Senator Tom Daschle's office, and how the investigation into the anthrax scares are developing. Plus, the doctors who saw the devastation at Ground Zero. Some of them are here in Chicago tonight to share their stories. And he was a former top cop in the Chicago Police Department, supposed to go on trial today, but prosecutors say he may have tried to kill himself. The WGN News starts right now.
This is Chicago's very own WGN News at 9.
Anthrax found on letters in New York and Washington is a high-grade, very pure strain and probably the work of a professional. That's the word from investigators tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jackie Bange in for Allison Payne.
And I'm Steve Sanders. Homeland Security Chief Tom Ridge says he presumes Osama bin Laden's terror network is behind the anthrax cases, but admits they don't have credible evidence just yet. Meanwhile, U.S. jets pound Taliban positions in Afghanistan for the 10th straight day. But tonight, Pentagon officials admit one of their bombs mistakenly hit a Red Cross warehouse in Kabul. WGN's Grant Rampey is in the nation's capital now with the very latest.
Well, the air campaign in Afghanistan goes on tonight. We understand more than 2,000 bombs and missiles used so far, while police here in the nation's capital continue to play defense. A dozen senators and their staffers kept from their offices for a second day, many of them still waiting to be tested for exposure to anthrax. Investigators checking air ducts near where the ultrafine powder in this envelope was discovered Monday.
We were told that it was a very strong form of anthrax, a very potent form of anthrax that clearly was produced by somebody who knew what he or she was doing.
The FBI is releasing pictures of both the Daschle letter and the envelope sent to NBC anchorman Tom Brokaw. The goal, to bring in new leads. This as the Justice Department goes after pranksters who are wasting their time, warning them today, cool it or pay the price. Big fines and certain jail time.
Terrorism hoaxes are not victimless crimes, but are the destructive acts of cowards.
Tonight, the Pentagon's presenting new details of its continuing air campaign. More training camps and enemy missile sites utterly destroyed.
We're going to keep up the pressure on the terrorists and on the Taliban leadership.
They'll do that with help from the AC-130 gunship now being put into service, designed to fly low and slowly at night. It may be as good at spreading fear as firepower. And from the president today, less of the fiery rhetoric usually directed at Osama bin Laden. Instead, words of thanks to these kids who are trying to help Afghan children. Also, words of reassurance.
We're doing everything we can to find anybody who wants to hurt you, to bring them to justice. We're doing everything we can to respond to any act that may take place in our country.
And to give you some idea just how edgy police in the nation's capital are over the anthrax scares, today they evacuated an office building nearby when someone spotted white powder in an elevator. Turns out it was powdered sugar from a jelly donut. In Washington, Grant Rampey, WGN News.
Grant, thank you very much. For a 10th day, the U.S. has bombarded Afghanistan with airstrikes to try and root out the terrorist hiding there.
A senior Pentagon official says the strikes have gutted the Taliban's combat power. Military leaders say the Air Force, for the first time, has used its powerful AC-130 Spectre gunship. The Special Operations aircraft attacked a Taliban military barracks and headquarters. That was in Kandahar in southern Afghanistan. That's where the Taliban's seat of power is located. Joining us to talk about the U.S. campaign in Afghanistan is WGN military analyst, retired Brigadier General David Grange. Now, General Grange, you have had some experience with these AC-130s. Is that correct?
On that operation, they were critical for firepower, especially at the beginning of the operation when there was not many forces on the ground. Variants of that we used in Vietnam called the Stinger and Spooky, which are on smaller fixed-wing aircraft that were used extensively to support special forces and ranger teams deep out in the jungle when they were surrounded by enemy forces. They were critical to the survival of those teams.
It must be a fearsome weapon, General. What is the use of the AC-130 gunship at this stage of the war? Tell us about where we are right now.
Well, the AC-130 gunship, a great system, but usually you have to have some type of air superiority, which we have right now. It is more vulnerable to air defense weaponry. We lost one in Kuwait during the Gulf War, but we have those conditions now set up in Afghanistan where we can use that aircraft day and night. Optimally at night. It has great night vision capability as well as better vision for the daylight to determine friend and foe for engagement with 105mm cannon and 40mm automatic cannon.
Now, in the earlier reports, they said it was used more, in addition, as a fear factor. Do you agree with that as well?
Absolutely. You cannot, most often at night, you won't hear the aircraft. It'll take out pinpoint targets. For instance, a moving automobile, very easily, and it just loiters forever up there and just can take out just about anything directed to do so. It doesn't have a lot of penetration for underground bunker systems in that, but it's excellent on tanks and vehicles and troops in the open.
And you spoke about how accurate it is. Given the U.S. effort to keep civilian casualties at a minimum, I would imagine that's very important right now.
If you are a friendly force on the ground, you can call in the fire support from this aircraft right up in front of you. So yes, very good for keeping down collateral damage and loss of civilian life.
Do you think this is a prelude then to ground forces?
Well, I'm not sure about that. The conditions are obviously more advantageous to use of ground forces if they have the AC-130 airborne at this time.
Very briefly, General, you mentioned that these aircraft are slow. Are they vulnerable?
They are. They're vulnerable to air defense fire. However, they do have some capability on board to avoid ground-to-air missile.
General, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Well, newly released transcripts from the September 11th attacks offer chilling details of that day. The New York Times published the transcripts. We learn more from those most involved in the final terrifying moments. The transcripts published by the New York Times are based on recordings made between the four pilots of the planes and various air traffic controllers. From the cockpit of American Flight 11, the first plane to crash, "Nobody move, please. We are going back to the airport. Don't try to make any stupid moves." By then, Flight 11 had disappeared, and air traffic controllers were calling on all aircraft to help find it. Ironically, the pilot of Flight 175, the second ill-fated flight, made this transmission about Flight 11. Sounds like someone keyed the mic and said, "Everyone stay in your seats." By then, it was too late. 5 minutes later, Flight 11 struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Then this chilling statement from an unidentified pilot. "Anybody know what that smoke is in Lower Manhattan?" Within minutes, F-15s were in the air, but they couldn't find Flight 175 because the transponder was turned off. At 9:03, it struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center. The F-15s were 8 minutes away. Meanwhile, flight controllers in Indianapolis were trying to contact another missing flight. It was American Flight 77. A flight controller asked, "American 77, Indy radio check, how do you read?" At 9:27 a.m., 3 F-16s took off from Langley Air Force Base in Virginia. They were heading to New York, but 6 minutes later, Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon. The fighters turned to Washington, but all they could do was confirm the Pentagon was on fire. By then, United Flight 93 was turning around, apparently heading to Washington. It crashed in a Pennsylvania field, thanks to passengers who fought the hijackers. Had that not happened, the F-16s did have time to execute the president's order to shoot down the airliner. Now, the transcripts covered 2 hours of conversations from around 8 a.m. when Flight 11 took off from Boston to just after 10 a.m. when United Flight 93 crashed in Pennsylvania.
Well, the head of Elk Grove-based United Airlines warns they could go out of business next year if they can't stem the tide of red ink. In a letter to employees, United CEO James Goodwin said the company was not doing well financially earlier this year. And since the terrorist attack, it has been hemorrhaging money. A United spokesman confirmed the contents of the letter, which was written last week, but says it had not yet been distributed to employees and was leaked prematurely.
They were some of the first people to see the devastation following the terrorist attacks. They were the medical personnel in New York and Washington, and some of them are here in Chicago tonight talking about their experiences. WGN's Kim Johnson is live at Navy Pier with their stories. Kim?
Well, the Scientific Assembly is the world's largest gathering of emergency medical professionals. Now, we're talking about people who have seen things that most of us can't begin to imagine. But this evening, they had an opportunity to hear from some doctors who were at Ground Zero, doctors who were in New York and in Washington, D.C., doctors who say in the midst of the madness, they found a renewed clarity of purpose. A series of incredible photos from Ground Zero, shown on big screens, is how the special session of the 2001 Scientific Assembly began in the Grand Ballroom at Navy Pier. It was special because 5 doctors who were in New York and Washington, D.C., working on September 11th, tried to describe the indescribable to a standing room only crowd. Yes, they talked about the nature of some of the injuries they saw.
Massive head injuries, severe burns. Apparently the jet fuel, as best as we can tell, was splashing onto the street below.
But what made the session so intriguing were stories of how those trained to handle the most serious medical emergencies had to do so with all of their own concerns and fears very much intact.
And a lot of our staff members, nurses, other personnel in the hospital started crying, just burst out crying. They thought we were going to be bombed. They thought we were the next target.
Even with all of the hours they put in, there was an overwhelming sense that somehow they just weren't doing enough. So it was that much more significant when 2 medics searching through wreckage found the black boxes from the plane that hit the Pentagon.
To hear him come over the radio and ask for the FBI, I knew something was up, so I started to make my way towards his sector of the building. And I wasn't even halfway there to hear him ask for the NTSB.
Every now and then I have questions about what I do, and we all do, about whether it's worthwhile. I haven't had those questions since September 11th.
Now, these doctors most certainly are trained to deal with the most serious emergencies imaginable, and they had to admit that September 11th showed them that there were things they had never seen before, feelings they had never felt before. They say that they were glad to be in a position to help in the ways that they could, but they sincerely hope to never see anything like September 11th ever again. Reporting live from Navy Pier, Kim Johnson, WGN News.
The doctors you talked to, how are they doing now?
Well, a lot of them, believe it or not, were saying that in the midst of feeling like they weren't doing enough, they felt like they wished they could have spent more time with those patients. They wished that they would have been able to talk to people more. They also say that in the process of trying to help people, they realize that there are a number of things that hospitals need to do differently in terms of logistics in a situation like that. So despite all of the sadness and madness and chaos, they say they actually learned some things that will be very helpful in the future.
All right, Kim, thank you very much.
Well, the trial of a former Chicago police chief of detectives takes an unusual turn today.
Up next, prosecutors say he may have tried to kill himself.
But first, today's winning lottery numbers. Tonight's live drawing is coming up next.
This portion of WGN News is brought to you by SBC Ameritech. We're on it.
Hey, sweetie, what's wrong? Don't worry. I'm sure that the neighbors are nice.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood. You want to go to the party?
I baked this pie for you. What?
Downloads faster, smoother, easier. DSL internet from SBC Ameritech. We're on it.
Call to see if DSL is available in your area.
Live from WGN TV Chicago, the official drawing of the Illinois Lottery.
And good evening, Dean Richards with your Illinois Lottery drawing for Tuesday, October the 16th, 2001. And the Pick 3 game is up first. Here's tonight's first winning Pick 3 number. It is 4, the second number, 7. And the third and final number tonight is 2. So for tonight, the official Pick 3 number is 4, 7, and 2. Now it's time for the Pick 4 game. We'll draw up and mix the balls in each of the machines. We'll remind you about the multi-state big game drawing coming up after the news at 10 o'clock tonight. $53 million to a single winner. Hope you have your ticket. Here's tonight's first winning Pick 4. It's 3. Second number. is also 3. The third number tonight, 8. And the fourth and final number is 5. And so the official pick 4 number for tonight, 3, 3, 8, and 5. Now it's time for the Little Lotto game, the one we play 5 nights a week with tens of thousands of winners and even more opportunities for you to win. Good luck. The first winning number tonight is 22. The second number, 29. The third number, 9. The fourth number, 23. And the fifth and final number, 25. And so the official Little Lotto numbers are 22, 29, 9, 23, and 25. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for Pick 3, Pick 4 Little Lotto, and a $5.5 million lotto drawing. I'm Dean Richards. Have a good night.
Tonight's lottery drawing was brought to you by WGN TV and has been supervised by the accounting firm of Altshuler, Melvoin, and Glasser.
All the News Plus' Teresa Griffin sings for us, and we'll talk with 2 Chicago men who created the award-winning movie 1 Week.
We're going deep into the Bozo closet one last time, and Titanic explorer Robert Ballard shares more ocean adventures.
We'll crown the winner in our Battle of the Bands, and we're in the Creature Corner learning about dangerous reptiles tomorrow from 6 to 9.
On September 11th, our world changed. Terrorists tried to push our economy over the edge. As a candidate for governor, I say we have to push back. I will continue to support expanding O'Hare. It's critical to our state's economy. And I'll develop job creation teams from technology to manufacturing. I won't give in, not to terrorists, not to a struggling economy. I'm Corrine Wood, and I want to be your governor.
Sunday, Jim. Comfortable, spacious, magnetic. The Civic from Honda.
Get together, put your arms around each other.
On November 2nd,
my son is living with you, and I have no idea what kind of man you really are.
The perfect family is only a cover.
He killed a guy. I saw him do it.
For the perfect crime.
Do you think I'm going to endanger my own child by marrying a killer?
John Travolta.
I have never failed Danny ever, and I'm not going to fail him now.
Vince Vaughn.
Get Danny out of the house. Dad! My son may be afraid of you, but I'm not.
Domestic disturbance. Rated PG-13. Friday, November 2nd everywhere.
A former Chicago chief of detectives may have tried to kill himself rather than deal with his pending legal problems. William Hanhart is hospitalized after overdosing on pain pills. His racketeering trial was supposed to start today. WGN's Randy Salerno joins us live in the newsroom with more. Randy?
Good evening. The judge expected Hanhart to plead guilty to the racketeering charges today. Instead, he learned the 72-year-old former chief of detectives was in the hospital after apparently trying to take his own life. It's alleged Hanhart was the ringleader of a multi-million-dollar jewelry heist ring, sometimes using other Chicago police officers to get sensitive information about jewelry dealers. If he does plead guilty, we may never know who those other police officers were. At one time, he was one of Chicago's most famous cops, the reputation as a real crime buster. He even consulted on Hollywood projects. Now doctors say he took 20 OxyContin pain pills in a possible suicide attempt.
Consumption of that amount is inconsistent with his survival. So he was in a condition, according to the medical reports, in which he may not have been completely lucid.
Hanhart is charged with being the ringleader in a nationwide jewelry ring. They allegedly operated in the back room bar on Rush Street. Hanhart and 5 others allegedly using police officers to get information about jewelry dealers, then robbed the dealers to the tune of some $5 million. 4 men have already pleaded guilty, and Hanhart was expected to plead guilty as well.
This is the big fish. What I'm saying is a lot of little fish and minnows may swim around under the rocks and never be seen again.
If Hanhart does not go to trial and pleads guilty, the truth about who was really involved may never be known.
These guys didn't operate alone. they had inside help. A lot of people looked up to this guy. He was a hero to hundreds of police officers and the general public too. So those guys who helped him out thinking they were doing him a favor, they're still there.
Hadhart is eligible for 15 years in prison if he makes a guilty plea. Tribune columnist John Cass has been writing about the former chief of detectives for months. He is critical of city leaders for not speaking out on the Hadhart case.
And he's rising to prominence as the outfit's cop, as Joey Lombardo's cop, and nobody's saying a word. Isn't it funny? You have a little city worker screws up, millions of news conferences, ink, and a lot of outrage. Now, it's like, throw away the key.
Hadhart's bond was revoked today. He is due in court on Friday morning. If he doesn't show up, Judge Norgel says he will have him arrested. He's expected to fully recover from his overdose by then. Reporting live from the newsroom, Randy Salerno, WGN News.
All right, Randy, thank you. One man is dead, 3 others injured in a scaffolding accident at Michael Reese Hospital and Medical Center. The man who died is identified as 58-year-old Thomas Sicklaff of suburban Oak Lawn. Investigators have not said just how this accident occurred. Initial reports said the men were on the scaffolding about 3 stories up when the accident occurred. 2 of the injured men are reported to be in serious condition at Cook County Hospital. The other worker, fair condition at Mount Sinai.
Well, today we struggled to hit the 50-degree mark. Tomorrow doesn't look much better.
Chilly out there, but Tom Skilling says some warmer temperatures are not too far off. His forecast is coming up next.
Experience WGN News video from your computer. The day's top stories, investigative and medical reports, plus highlights from WGN Morning News. It's new, it's convenient, and it's only the beginning. Just click Feed Room on WGNTV.com.
Ah, the great outdoors. Made even greater with all-wheel drive. A remarkably civilized ride. And better fuel economy than many SUVs. The Volvo Cross Country. It'll change how far you can go with all-wheel drive.
Slow down with Boston Market. And now try our delicious quarter dark chicken meal with not just 2, but 3 sides and cornbread for just $4.99. Boston Market. Slow down. And if you can't get to the restaurant, try Boston Market frozen meals in your grocery.
We'll pick up the interest. Now get 0 interest financing on new 2002 Dodge cars and trucks. And if you come in now, you can take advantage of no payments until 2002. See your Dodge dealer today.
This portion of WGN News is brought to you by Harris Investor Line, a better kind of discount broker, a direct broker.
Harris Investor Line is a better kind of discount broker, a direct broker. Invest online, by phone, or with a person. That's direct contact. Great rates, that's direct savings. And real live brokers, that's direct service. Get the advantage of direct investing at Harris Investor Line.
For your free starter kit, call toll-free 1-866-234-LINE.
You're watching Chicago's very own WGN News at 9.
Mayor Daley cut the ribbon on the 5th annual Pumpkin Plaza today. Daley Plaza has been transformed as one of the many Chicago-ween events. The plaza features a haunted village and, look, specially carved pumpkins, including one of the image of the mayor himself. But will Chicago-ween visitors experience bone-chilling effects from the cold weather? Well,
that was a wicked smile there on the mayor. I don't think he's going to like that.
Something I think that was very well done.
It was.
That looked pretty realistic. It really was. I was down talking to our friends at Streets and Sanitation. We were filming a piece that's going to be used in an upcoming Ask Tom.
You're not hanging out at City Hall now.
Preparation for the winter. I was today,
Good buddy.
Steve. I'll tell you something. We talked to the commissioner and the fine folks down there. But the question was, has all of this recent rain, does this have any connection with the kind of snow we're going to get this winter? Well, we did some statistical review of that, and we found out we get mixed signals. And this is going to be a tricky winter to call on the snow front. We'll talk more about that and have more on the Chicago Tribune tomorrow. But if you look at the year and the kind of winters that follow wet years, which we've had like this year, and look at the lake effect clouds coming down and moving into Indiana tonight, you find that you get a snowy winter. But on the other hand, if you look at the winters that follow wet autumns, at least wet first halves of autumn, like this year, you tend to get below normal snowfall. So you've kind of got your pick. There's no reason for anybody, whether you like snow or dislike it, to give up yet on the winter. There are many questions yet to be answered. Look at the sunshine earlier today out to the west of us, and that is to be ours tomorrow. We may have a near 100% sunny sky in all but northwest Indiana, where these lake snows are going to go into the region overnight, and they'll tend to work into more north-central Indiana as the night goes on. We'll have some of the coldest temperatures as skies clear out to the west of the lake tonight. And you can see these lake effect elements going into Indiana and southwest lower Michigan. These are the kinds of things that in a couple of months will be snowing on folks over there, but it's just rain now. Though the air is dry enough, we may get a little evaporative cooling and get some ice pellets mixed in places over there. This will not affect Chicago, nor our western suburbs, where mid-20s may occur tonight, and there are freeze warnings in effect. The humid air that has supplied us all this rain of late is shown being suppressed by this massive outbreak of cool air that has come in east of the Rockies. It's unseasonably hot, on the other hand, in the southwest, where dew points tonight are at 39 in Phoenix, but that followed a high today in the 90s, as our dew point of 34 gives us an idea kind of where the temperatures are going tonight. And weather reports indicate to the lee of the lakes, that's where we have a little rain being reported of the lake effect variety. But that, again, is not coming our way. We do see some more showers, but not till Sunday later in the day or at night, and they will be scattered. About 7/10 of an inch may come down in the next 10 days, and part of that is from those Sunday showers, which will be our next. Until then, it's pretty quiet. The jet stream is buckling in from Canada, delivering us very chilly air. But look how warm air blows in. The jet buckles to the north. It forms between cold and warm air, so when it ridges like this, that's a sign you're warming up. And we'll get a low level and an upper level southwest wind to blow with vigor the day after tomorrow and ease these temperatures. Look at the winds yesterday at noon. Here they were last night, rotating into the storm off to the east of us. And tonight they're blowing from the west, but all of a sudden out here, you'll notice how they turn in from the east. That means there's literally no wind right in here, and this is the region where the temperatures will get coldest tonight because the air is sinking there, kind of fanning out around that area. There will be virtually no horizontal air movement there, and the temperatures will get very chilly, and in fact, they are cool. These are temperatures at 9 o'clock, 43 in Chicago, 39 Twin Cities, 38 up at Bismarck, and locally, our temperatures range from 43 at O'Hare, already 39 in Aurora, and it's 46 on the other hand over in Gary and 45 at Valparaiso. Those areas will be spared the full brunt of the 20-degree temperatures tonight because of the winds off the lake, which is still fairly warm, retains a little bit of the warmth from the fast fading memories of summer that we had just not all that long ago. Well, clearing and colder with some lake effect, not snow, but rain in north central Indiana. Heaven forbid lake effect snow. We don't want to scare you over there. Low temperature 25. In the outlying areas west of Chicago, but 39 over there in Indiana, which ought to keep a lot of that precipitation liquid or in the form of some ice pellets. Sunny, in fact, 100% sunny and cool here in Chicago, about 10 degrees below normal, and just a little lake effect cloudiness and maybe a rain or an ice pellet shower in the morning in north central Indiana once again. High of 53. That means you folks in the northwest corner of the state shouldn't have any problems over in Indiana. Cloudiness develops, but only the mid-level type, and a little warmer tomorrow night, low 37, and then windy and in the mid-60s on Thursday.
So it is coming back.
So that'll be kind of nice. That's a little bit of Indian summer, and you know we have full-blown Indian summer yet to go. So we have some nice days ahead. Jackie, Steve.
I trust you.
You bet.
Attorney General Jim Ryan lays out some tough new anti-terrorism laws. Details up next.
Plus, in the wake of the overwhelming number of hazmat calls, the Chicago Police Department revises the way it responds to suspicious packages.
And Mayor Daley talks about the recent rash of 911 calls for suspicious powder.
There's fast food, and then there's KFC.
And now try the Colonel's new 8-piece meal deal. Get 8 pieces, that's a whole chicken, large mashed potatoes and gravy, and 4 biscuits for just $9.99. There's no meal like it for under $10.
just build a better SUV. We built a better Mercedes. Introducing the redesigned 2002 M-Class.
On November 2nd, you won't believe your eye.
Would you listen to this? Blame it on the little guy with his one eye!
The creators of Toy Story take you into the high-pressure world of Monsters, Inc.
You little one-eyed cretin. Okay, first of all, it's cretin. If you're gonna threaten me, do it properly.
Billy Crystal, John Goodman.
Where is he?
Monsters Incorporated. Rated G. In theaters November 2nd.
Time flies by. Well, so do the miles on your car. That's why it's Oil Express. Every 3,000 miles or 3 months, whichever comes first. Oil Express.
Today, we need a governor with the integrity and courage to do what's right and reform politics and government in Illinois. Pat O'Malley's legislative record against armed criminals, enabling Chicago school reform, and ending waste of taxpayer dollars shows his courage in government. Pat O'Malley's a thoughtful conservative who has the fond support of Republicans and Reagan Democrats because he's a nice, smart, dead honest man. Rally around O'Malley for governor.
There's fast food, and then there's KFC.
And now try the Colonel's new 8-piece meal deal. Get 8 pieces, that's a whole chicken, large mashed potatoes and gravy, and 4 biscuits for just $9.99. There's no meal like it for under $10.
WGN News has learned the Chicago Police Department has changed the way it responds to reports of suspicious packages. The union representing rank-and-file cops tells us more than 70 officers called in this weekend complaining that potentially dangerous packages were piling up on desks at their police stations. The fire department is only called in when officers actually see powder or liquid leaking from an envelope. The rest of the time, the officers collect the suspicious material themselves. They were under orders to bring it back to their station house. However, according to these new orders obtained by WGN News, officers are instructed now to call for a supervisor who will bring rubber gloves and a biohazard bag. Officers should now wrap up suspicious packages and immediately take them to the crime lab for inspection and testing. Chicago police would not comment on camera. However, commanders tell us safe procedures are now in place.
Mayor Daley is urging everyone to use common sense in deciding whether a powdery substance they see could be a biological weapon like anthrax or something that is normal or natural in its surrounding environment. His comments came after the CTA shut down its red line near Division and Clark after a suspicious powder was discovered. Daley said the powder turned out to be baking soda. They believe it may have been left over from the city's graffiti blasting machines, which use water and baking soda under high pressure.
You cannot be shutting everything down. If you do that, you have a direct effect on the economy. You basically then put people in fear. And what we have to do is we have to come through this and look at some things with some common sense.
The mayor says people have the right to call authorities whenever they think they're threatened. He adds, though, the terrorists will win if normal lifestyles change and people are in constant fear.
Illinois Attorney General Jim Ryan is proposing tough new laws that would give state authorities more power to track and investigate suspected terrorists. Ryan's plan would expand the state's ability to put wiretaps on suspected phone calls, allow search warrants to be issued more quickly, and make it a crime to fund terrorists. Ryan says the state needs more tools to catch suspected terrorists before they strike.
And every day we get warnings that there could be another act of domestic terrorism. On September the 11th, it was New York, and today it could be Chicago. And so we have to be prepared, and we have to equip law enforcement officers with the tools they need to do a better job of preventing this from happening in the first place. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Ryan says the package has broad support among the law enforcement community, and he is urging the state legislature to pass the proposals during the fall veto session, which begins next month.
Parents of children who suffer from rare, undiagnosed diseases join together, and it's not just for support.
Coming up next on the Medical Watch, Dina Baer tells us about a worldwide mission to gather data and search to diagnose and help their children.
Are Ross and Rachel really over? Not if Joey and Chandler can help it.
We just had this huge fight, all right? Don't I have to wait a while?
Hey, this isn't like swimming after you eat. Pick up your phone!
Next Friends.
Tonight at 10 on WGN.
On the next Everybody Loves Raymond.
Look at me, I'm going to work in my bathrobe.
I'm like Hugh Hefner, minus everything good about his life.
On the next Everybody Loves Raymond.
Tomorrow night at 6:30 on WGN.
At GMC, our engineers have been designing trucks exclusively for 100 years. Now, we want to help keep America rolling with interest-free financing on all GMC trucks, vans, and SUVs. The power of Sierra, the agility of Yukon, the comfort and luxury of Envoy. Every new GMC comes with 0% APR through October 31st. Upgrade to professional grade and help keep America rolling. See the pros at your Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana GMC dealers.
Now, DVD movie history is waiting for you.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Godfather DVD collection brings 3 epic masterpieces to DVD for the first time.
It's not personal, it's strictly business.
In stunning widescreen picture with amazing digital sound, plus commentaries from Francis Ford Coppola and over 3 hours of bonus features. Experience the ultimate collection for the first time on DVD. The Godfather DVD collection. Buy it today.
The new collection is a triumph, just dripping with vibrant flair. And I love the reinterpretation of the front and back color covers, from sassy to sublime. Custom ringtones strike a retro chord.
Right now, Cingular is giving you twice as much. Buy this hip new Nokia and get another one free. Plus, ask about our unlimited nights and weekend plans. Cingular Wireless, what do you have to say?
To help keep America rolling, here's an important announcement from your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers. Until the end of October, Pontiac will offer qualified buyers 0% APR GMAC financing for 60 months on every new 2001 Grand Am, Grand Prix, Sunfire and Firebird, every Aztec and Bonneville. Interest-free financing for 5 years on new 2001 Pontiacs. In a small way, it's our way of saying, let's keep America rolling. See your Chicagoland Pontiac dealers for details.
A time of new beginnings.
Oh, God, I can't believe I did this.
An all-new Dawson's Creek.
Wednesday night at 7 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
On the Medical Watch tonight, finding a way to unlock the secrets of disease and possibly save children's lives.
Hundreds of sick children each year have diseases doctors cannot diagnose. Now there's a worldwide effort underway to bring together all of the children suffering from rare diseases to help one another.
WGN's medical reporter Dina Baer explains.
There you go. And kids. There you go.
Looking at Miranda Forstall, you know something is wrong. Her head is not the right size. She has weak muscles and experiences seizures. But doctors don't know exactly what is wrong. And because of that, they can't figure out how to treat her.
Yeah, I guess the biggest word is frustration, sadness.
Miranda's sister Bridget was just a year old when she died from a similar degenerative and undiagnosed condition. Her parents know the pain of losing a child. That's why they are desperately racing against time to find a cure for Miranda, one they feel is locked inside another child with the same symptoms.
It's very common for such children to get misdiagnosed. And it's very common for them to just remain undiagnosed. But I do believe that there are other kids out there.
You know, there's always a possibility that we can find some enzyme or something and find the gene and find a lacking enzyme or something.
But we need another family. We need other blood, other DNA.
You know, because stuff that we found with her, Bridget was never tested for. You know, so it's, the ultimate would be to find somebody, you know, with a similar condition to hers, that we can hopefully, between the two of them, help them both.
The closest diagnosis for Miranda is a disease called spinal muscular atrophy. The life expectancy, 2 years. Miranda is now 14 months old, and each day her parents struggle to combat her symptoms and keep her alive 1 day longer so doctors can continue their research.
We have a binder that's about this big with all of the 19 different things she gets every day.
And while she keeps a medication log, Dr. Catherine Swoboda documents the characteristics of rare disorders in her computer.
It's helping us dissect out and identify patterns that will give us specific subgroups of children with disorders that we can get a handle on. Much of the success of the genetics of late has been because people are starting to combine forces from different institutions nationally and internationally, and putting this data together.
About 80% of the children with rare disorders Dr. Swoboda sees go undiagnosed. As more and more cases are described completely and better testing methods established, parents may soon have more answers. On the Medical Watch, Dina Baer, WGN News.
And you can find out more information about a child with a rare disorder by logging on to our website at WGNTV.com.
Oh, another injury forces Michael Jordan off the basketball court again. Dave Ennett with the details.
Plus, Arizona's Randy Johnson tries to break his 7-game losing streak in the postseason. That story and more coming up next in sports.
Hi, Dave.
Introducing the next great Jeep idea. Jeep Liberty. So incredibly capable, it can take you miles away and back again. Jeep Liberty. Incredibly capable, surprisingly affordable.
This Your Money Report is brought to you by Harris Bank. Lion Power. It's there when you need it.
Don't let holiday debt ruin the spirit of the season. Experts say you shouldn't head to the stores without a plan. Make a list of everyone for whom you intend to buy a gift and then set a cost limit for each one. And this is important, pay with cash. You can't get into debt if you don't use a credit card. Did you know that people who pay with plastic tend to spend more? Bottom line, be prepared. I'm CLTV's Bill Mueller for Your Money.
This is Lion Power. You need a couple of million to make something happen with your business? No problem. You've already made it happen, and you want some good advice on what to do with the money? That's a specialty of ours. You haven't decided yet what you're going to do with your life. Well, you're still going to need a good bank. Come on in to Harris, Chicago's hometown bank, with the easy-to-remember name because it's been the same name for almost 100 years. Lion Power. It's there when you need it.
Every car has its moment. This one has thousands per second. The new BMW 3 Series.
On WGN Radio's Dave Ennett in tonight. Baseball
Award-winning.
action.
We have to
That's
say
right.
that.
Congratulations. That's an AIR award.
Yes.
AIR award.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
for
you very
play-by-play, Northwestern.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thanks very
Your
much.
partner, Tom Waddle.
You all are too kind. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk some baseball. First of all, time for the National League to take center stage today in baseball's postseason. And you couldn't ask for a better matchup. Two of the game's best pitchers, Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson, hooking up as the Diamondbacks hosted the Atlanta Braves. Arizona's first-year manager, Bob Brenly, could pretty much sit back and relax in this one. The Diamondbacks jumped on Maddux for an early run. Reggie Sanders lines one up the middle, scoring Craig Counsell 1-0 in the first. Then in the fifth, a battle of ex-Cubs. Luis Gonzalez off Maddux to right field. Once again, Counsell comes around, and it's 2-0. Johnson was only in trouble in the ninth. 2 on, 2 out, but down goes Brian Jordan. Johnson's 11th strikeout to complete a 3-hitter and end his 7-game postseason losing streak 2-0 and keep up with his teammate Kurt Schilling.
You know, he's raised the bar for me now in postseason. You know, this, you know, assuming someone might say in here, you know, say, is this a monkey off your back? It's more like a gorilla, you know, King Kong.
Lou Piniella and the Mariners getting ready for their American League Championship Series rematch with the Yankees starting tomorrow at Safeco Field. Yankees got plays like this from Derek Jeter as they finished off the Oakland A's in 5 games after dropping the first 2 at home. And now it is on to Seattle.
Seattle, you know, broke our record that we set in '98, and now we stand in the way of them trying to win a championship. They stand in the way of us trying to win another one. So I think a lot of people going into the postseason maybe wanted to see this.
If we want to go to the World Series, we're going to have to beat the world champions, and I guess that's the way it was meant to be.
Well, the Bulls have suffered their first loss of the preseason. They fell to the Raptors in Toronto tonight, 107-89. Ron Mercer had 15 points. Michael Jordan was the host as the Washington Wizards held a scrimmage tonight for those involved in the rescue efforts at the Pentagon. Jordan greeted the workers and their families but didn't play after injuring his foot in an exhibition game Saturday. He did speak to the crowd, hopes to be playing again shortly. Northwestern gets a visit from a legend Saturday. The Wildcats will host Joe Paterno and Penn State, and the Cats' improving defense hopes to make a statement against a Penn State team which has scored only 31 points in 4 games.
Northwestern's got some good football players. I mean, Northwestern, you know, everybody talks about their spread offense. That's a pretty good defensive football team. They've got a lot of fine players. At number 8, plays defensive end, has been a linebacker, so he's one of the better players we'll play against.
Briefly, the Bears, as planned, have re-signed quarterback Shane Matthews and released long snapper Ryan Benjamin. Jets safety Damian Robinson has been charged with possession of an assault rifle, which was found in his trunk Sunday at Giants Stadium. And how bad are things for the Dallas Cowboys these days? Their kicker, Tim Cedar, was warming up before last night's game. He got stepped on by the mascot, Mandarin. This is the kicker we're talking about. Cedar was okay. Went on to kick the game-winning field goal on the final play to beat the Washington Redskins, but I have a feeling he's going to be a little more careful during the pregame warm-ups in the future.
Of all the body parts to have injured. I mean,
not good for a kicker.
Dave, thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, tomorrow promises to be another chilly one.
Tom Skilling is up next with your Wake Up and 7-day forecast.
A new season of Pop Stars goes co-ed. Who'll be next? Sometimes it's black, sometimes Pop Stars 2.
Premiering Thursday at 7 on WGN.
Everyone's working together to get things moving again. Here's our contribution. 0% financing on most Chrysler cars and minivans. And if you buy now, no monthly payments for 90 days. Now it's never been easier to drive home a new Chrysler car or minivan. So take advantage of these great offers. It's our way of helping move things forward again. See your local Chrysler dealer today.
It's not always easy to find your way around a healthcare plan. But Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois is working to assure you access to whatever you need, whenever you need it. So in your quest to secure and maintain good health, let us lift you from a sea of uncertainty to solid ground. The meaning of healthcare is changing. Not too long ago.
Ah, the great outdoors. Made even greater with all-wheel drive. A remarkably civilized ride. And better fuel economy than many SUVs. The Volvo Cross Country. It'll change how far you can go with all-wheel drive.
Recapping the latest on the war on terrorism. Anthrax found on letters in New York and Washington is a high-grade, very pure strain of the bacteria and likely the work of a professional, according to investigators.
Well, the Bush administration presumes Osama bin Laden's terror network is behind the anthrax cases, but say they don't have direct evidence as of yet. Meanwhile, U.S. jets pound Taliban positions in Afghanistan for the 10th straight day. Pentagon officials admit one of their bombs mistakenly hit a Red Cross warehouse in Kabul.
Another cold morning?
It is going to be very cool. In fact, it's cool tomorrow morning, Jackie, as it's been any morning so far this autumn. And we do have some rain showers. It might even mix with a couple ice pellets going into north central Indiana. But here's how we stand right now. As cool as 39 at Aurora and 46 at the lakefront and down at Gary. The next 7 days, though, see temperatures bounce back from tomorrow's 10 degrees subnormal 53. Though there'll be 100% of the possible sun here in Chicago, and those morning clouds in the lake belt of north central Indiana will be fading away with time. We'll go up to 68 and be windy from the southwest for a change on Thursday. 60 Friday, beautiful day. Saturday looks partly sunny and kind of breezy from the southwest for another day with a 63. And the next chance of showers are Sunday and again Tuesday coming up. But that's almost Indian summer, almost qualifies.
We're getting there.
You bet. Happy to know it's going to warm up.
It is a little bit, Jackie. That's right.
That'll do it for this edition of WGN News at 9. I'm Steve Sanders.
And I'm Jackie Bange. And for Allison Payne, for Tom, Dave, and all of us here at WGN, have a great night.
Next newscast tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.
Tomorrow, news headlines, plus we'll find out who the big winner of the Battle of the Bands is.
Plus, we're out at the Brookfield Zoo checking out some reptiles. We'll show them to you tomorrow.
It's a full hour of laughs. And laughs. And laughs. Friends at 10 and Drew Carey at 10:30. Weeknights on WGN, Chicago's WB.
Somewhere in America, moments from now, there could be a new multi-millionaire. Welcome to The Big Game.
Good evening, I'm Carol Blackman. It's Tuesday, October 16th, and tonight's big game jackpot is an estimated annuitized $53 million. To win the jackpot, all you have to do is match all 5 white balls plus the Go Big Money ball. Good luck. 23. Now, if no one matches all 6 numbers, Friday's big game jackpot could be worth $59 million. Join us then on your exclusive station for The Big Game.